Alright, we'll title this video, What I Know About Drywalling. Now again, disclaimer at the front, I'm a construction engineer who's seen a lot of guys that really know what they're doing do the job. So this is my interpretation of how to do the job. I'm not saying I'm any sort of professional drywaller. I usually contract those guys out. Using basic sheetrock, the canned wall texture, and yes, before the keyboard commandos start, I know that these things are 18 bucks a can. And for the price of what I've used in here, I could have had 3 of the spray hoppers, but I don't have a compressor that'll run a spray hopper. And what you're paying for when you buy those is ease of installation. Now, I've got all my texture up. I was filling pinholes yesterday. I retextured all that. And then doing the ceiling texture up here. Notice I don't have anything to clean up. I just have those to throw away. And the curious thing is, so I've been buying the 2 different types that there are. So you get, and I haven't been buying the ceiling stuff. The ceiling, the only difference is this spout points up, which might make it a little bit easier maybe. But you notice you've got orange peel and knockdown. Now, in actual practice with the use of these, I'm finding 0 difference. As I just sprayed all of this after I filled in the pinholes and stuff yesterday. That's with a knockdown can, and it's looking just like the orange peel. I'm fixing a lot of that. Some of these little things in here I'm going to have to do with caulking. Just some painter's caulk and fill in those little pinholes. Because I'm done with joint compound in this room. This room needs to be painted. Cabinets come on Monday. But yeah, you look. And the only difference is with knockdown, you come back with a wide blade trowel. I need to go clean that off. And you just run it across there to knock it down and give you that knockdown look. Orange peel, you just leave it alone and let it flatten on its own as it dries, and it gives you that orange peel texture. Now obviously I'm interested in knockdown up here because then I don't have to be too exact about how I fix that whole feathering from old to new. And you know, that's basically what texture is camouflage of problems, mistakes, errors, whatever. However you want to categorize what I've done here. With the entire ceiling that will be left open after the cabinets has been done in this texture. That turned out a bit flatter than I'd like, but I'll probably just leave it. I really don't care. How many people are going to be coming into my kitchen and looking up? They're going to be looking at the counters where the food is. I think it's good enough for me. But yeah, I think we're done in this room. I'm going to show you some tips and tricks I learned. 2 people, 2 places to go. Well, the most important one is YouTube channel called Construction Coach. He does a huge series on drywalling, and that dude obviously knows 10 times what I do about how to use this stuff and basic tools to give you, as a DIYer, to give you a good finish. I don't know half of what he does about drywall, and so my job probably only looks half as good as his does. These little nubs, I wonder, yeah, don't like that stuff hanging down. There. Push that down, it'll flatten, it'll dry, things will be good. We'll do the final coat of paint probably tomorrow. Today, I'm probably going to do some stuff upstairs. I got some old intercom systems to remove and drywall patches that'll come after that. That corner bead that's up there I have to do. So that's probably how I'm going to show you what I know about drywall and how to use this stuff. So obviously this patch is more than just one of those little intercoms. It was also a patch here, so the plumber could get in and do some repairs to the pipes that's behind there for the shower. There were issues with that, so he got in there. So I ended up just patching a huge patch here. So these other ones will be nice and small. I'm looking, I've got air bubbles and stuff I got to fill in, so there probably needs to be one more skim coat. And I'll show you how to do that when you get these air bubbles. Those things are frustrating as can be. And there's a simple technique with your mud mixing to get a much better fill. Hi, baby. Yeah, you gonna talk too? Come on, bring the trains back to this room. So, intercoms I'm talking about. This house back in the 80s style had intercoms everywhere. And these are these little things. So, they may have still worked. I never tried them. I just ripped them out downstairs. Now I just got these 2 in the bedrooms to rip out. And this should be a small patch about this big in here. And around the corner in here. Obviously my wife's been trying her hand at filling pinholes. Previous owners were using the heck out of some nails to hang everything, so there's going to be some sanding in this room to sand all that down. Still got to prime it all, but my wife's got Friday off, and so Friday and Saturday she'll probably be in here painting, so I'm going to prep all this today, tomorrow. So all she can do is just come in and start spraying. Why Why are you closing the door, baby, huh? What are you doing? But yeah, I don't know if she sanded these ones over here. Nice and dark in here. I'll hit them all with the sander. But yeah, pinholes everywhere. They had pictures on every square foot of this wall. All over this place. But this is giving you a little tour of the bedroom too. Nice little closets in there. This bedroom will be the older boy's bedroom. Right now, when we're here all day, baby girl sleeps there. But you can hear there's some squeaks in the bedroom. I don't know. We pull the carpet up, I'll probably dump screws into it and see if I can't solve them, but I'm not doing any of the games like I did out here. Any which way, back on task to drywall. Alright, so these little things were very simple technology, simple low voltage wiring, a speaker, a microphone, switches. They had their own little bracket that would have been done to the stud and drywalled around. This is an exterior wall, so we've got insulation there. But I'm going to remove enough to be able to get this bracket out. Simple tools. And obviously a screw gun to be able to remove that thing with its big long screws. I don't know, those are overkill, but drywall saw, side cutters for the wires. Just remove them, cut over. I'll use those Frogger clips to be able to put the patch in. Patch, drywall joint compound. Now as far as the little low voltage wires in here go, I'm just burying them, leaving them in the wall. My electrician agrees because the main unit downstairs that used to be in the kitchen has been disconnected, and that was the power source for these, so there's no way these have any sort of voltage going through them anymore because all that's been disconnected and ripped out of the kitchen. So the control unit, these two things, there's one at the front door that I'm just going to leave there. Okay, so I get going and I forget I have power tools that'll do this job a lot faster. This little oscillating saw will slice through that drywall like it wasn't even there, which means it'll slice through your finger like it wasn't even there either. But yeah, I remember my electrician was using this to cut things in. Nice little fast and precise tool. You know, I did all that with just the regular handsaw. It's what I'm used to doing. I keep forgetting this thing has multiple uses, but yeah. You can see that bracket, and here it's got a staple, here it's got a staple. And I'm trying to go halfway through the stud so I can actually put some screws in the stud and then use a frog clip, probably just a frog clip here. Let's see if I'm good enough to actually film at the same time. I've got a nice little outline of where the box was. If I go on the outside of that outline, this is kind of rounded on this control module, or intercom module. So if I go straight, let's see if I can do this while holding this. This might be a bad idea. We'll find out. Make sure the corners are all released. And we should be able to rip it out. I placed a small trash can below there to catch most of the trash. But yeah, there we go. And that, not the straightest cut ever. I could probably straighten that up. Here's a little tip for you. See if I can pull it off while holding the camera. Get a pry bar in here, you'll mar up a bunch of stuff. And I guess it probably doesn't matter too much. But side cutters grip and pull. As I don't drop them inside the wall, that would be very bad. But grip the bottom of it and pull. Use them for leverage. Just like I think I showed in another video how to do that on the flooring staples. But there we go. That gets that out. Now that bracket's trash. I'll get the other ones out the same way, but there's a little trick for you. Alright, in the old days I used to do this trick with shims. I'd put shims back there, screw drywall in, or drywall screw in, maybe two of them in, and then a shim would come this way to be able to bridge a place. Otherwise you have to go stud to stud with a whole big patch, and why make more work for yourself if you can just do a small patch? Smaller is better. So these frog clips that I found, you know, look like little frogs. You just slip that in right there. Clamp those little clips down pretty well, and you sink a screw there and the screws that are provided. Then you'll be able to put your piece in and put screws there and there, and then it'll hold it all in together. You can joint compound over it. So let me get to it. So I'm very careful when I drill those in, making sure the point actually hits one of those holes, because if you get this divot in here, you'll sit there forever. The point, it just slides right in, gives you a little bit of dimple there, so it'll be easy to cover. Those little clips, yeah, well, it's a butt joint, so there's going to be a buildup of mud over it. And that's the trick, is to feather it out so it doesn't catch the eye. And it has to be perfect on this wall, because this wall is a level 5 smooth. There's no texture, no nothing on it, and I'm not putting texture on any more walls. But yeah, now I just need to cut a piece for this, and then we'll slap it in there. For those that haven't really done drywall patching before, simple little tip and trick. You don't even have to mark with a pencil. You do your knife mark for the side, throw your square on it, score a line with your razor knife, and then it allows you to snap it, and then you just got to cut that with the razor knife, and then you're cut. So you don't have to use saws, you don't have to use it. A razor knife, a good square. I've got a bigger T-square for larger sheets, but small ones like this, I just need a piece of drywall like this. Slice them, snap them, slice them again, and then you're ready to plug the hole. But a lot of you guys probably already know all that, but those that you don't, that's how you do it. So you use these little screws here on these frog clips. They're little tiny, shallow depth ones. Don't move too much, Sean. And you can kind of see in the gap there, let's see, in the gap there you can see where you're at, where those strengthening divots are and where you should be. Here you go, Sean, hold it out here. And you should only have to go, no, you can see I didn't hit the, yep, see that? That's when you don't hit. I need to move a little bit. There we go, now you can see it caught. Be real slow just so you only make a dimple, because that one I pulled too far. This one's too far in, broke the paper. You don't want to break the paper because that's some of your strength that you're giving up when you do that. Some screws here, matches in. I just got to put traditional drywall screws in here, not these shallow ones. Tape over the joints, mud it and go. So we'll get this one in, we'll get the next one in, and I'll show you taping next. Alright, demonstration of what I was talking about with cutting it. So make a simple slice here. You want to go a little bit under, because this is an irregular hole. And I'm looking here this way. On that one, again, a little bit under. So you got a notch there. Make right angles there, and you'll have your patch. Look down here, Sean. And then I take that, I don't even have to pencil mark. Slice there, flip it over to the other side, square it up, slice here, and it just snaps like that. Didn't even have to put much pressure on it. Slice the back side, it's off. Now, find that other reference mark. Yes, baby, give me pats. Slice it a couple times, doesn't hurt on a small piece like that. Make sure you're good and scored. Slice the backside paper off. Now let's see. Did it fit? Did I get all right? No, I didn't, and that's okay. I'm looking. This is where I'll take the pencil. I know I can trim some of this off. And I'll probably take the handsaw and slice there, and it'll fit. So if I slice that little section off with the handsaw, and you can see here I got a little bit there, I can scrape that down. I have an asp in my tool bag, but I can just use the knife. Look out, baby. Take the knife and just back scrape it. Asp is faster, but the knife works as well too. Obviously, by doing drywall, you're going through a lot of these blades. That's why they're replaceable. Back scrape it before I go cutting. Did that and give me room? No, it didn't, so I still need to do that. So, that with a handsaw. Boom, done. Yeah, it will. Okay, we put a frog clip in there. This is curious to me too. Using the oscillating, you look how clean that cut is versus using a handsaw, where just maybe that's just me, but it looks like a beaver chewed on it. So maybe other guys are cleaner and better at this. I'm not. The oscillating saw slices nice and clean cut. Maybe I could have done that with the oscillating saw and cleaned that up, but that's okay. We'll get one frog clip should be okay. Might put two. I've got enough. I'll put one here, one here. That way, just regular drywall screws here and here. But yeah, here we go. You notice these will take up some room, and that's why I undercut it, so it's not totally flush to the actual hole. So you want a little bit of space, so then it takes up room for that. The rest of it, you'll be pressing enough joint compound in there that it won't be any big deal. Here you go, Sean. Stand up to this level. little shallow depth screws. Somewhere about the center of where that was at. And see, I don't even have to put much pressure on it at all. It grabs through those little perforation holes and holds it tight. Unless you don't grab it. Back it out, try a different angle. There, now grab. You don't want to push in too far. You don't want it to break the paper, because if it's holding on the paper, it's holding. So now that's all secure. Thank you, baby. We'll put our patch board in there. Try to stay away from that. I grabbed neatly, but I went too far in. Alright. Again, that's why I'm not going full blast on these things, because if I grab too much, and that's what happens if you have to drill your own hole. Went all the way through. It should hold. I got 2 clips in there. Try to do better on this one than I did not. Let's move it. What am I hitting there? Holy cow, I'm not even hitting the hole at all. Trying to find those perforations. Maybe down here. There we go. Very gently in there. There we go. Didn't break paper. Broke paper on both of those ones. That's bad form. Now, if I didn't want to, I have an actual bit that'll stop you from doing that, and it'll put a dimple in the paper as well. It makes it easier. I'm not as worried with these ones because I still have to cover up these clips. So I do have to do a significant amount of mud, which I'll probably drag from the corner on out. Let's get this one in, and then we can move on to taping. No. How am I missing all that? I don't think I'd be in there. Just digging a hole in the wall. Golly. There we go. And that's good. Not the best I've ever done, but that will hold. And then 2 traditional drywall screws, regular length, so I can bite into the stud on the corner. Notice these have a much coarser thread meant for wood versus those fine thread meant for metal. Alright, there we go. Now, taping. A lot of guys use paper. I prefer the grid. Get my gloves off. I can feel where the edge of that is in here somewhere. I can see it almost, but that's the hardship with these things. You can't find your freaking edge. Here it is, found it. So this stuff is mesh, so it acts like rebar and concrete, sticky on the back side. Take it past the edge a little bit. Slice it, not your fingers, with the razor knife. Ask me how I know. Scar right there. You can't really see it in this camera, but I've sliced that open all the way down to the bone because I was careless and stupid. Put that on. Slice it. Now, if I'm doing longer runs of this, or if I know if I'm gonna tape and not get to applying mud that day, I'll staple it with a simple stapler. But for today, this will be fine. You just tape this on there, press it in so it sticks to both boards. And you can see why I like the actual mesh, because that means I'll be able to force the joint compound into that joint through there. And I should plug that hole pretty good. But yeah, that's the taping of it. Let's go to the other one. I lost my edge. There it is. slice it. Running out of tape on this roll. Okay. Yeah, that's it for this roll. I don't care to be going that far down. A string like that will cause problems. Because that will stop anything from getting through. It's not sticky on the back side, the sides. Cut a piece. Stick it up. Cut a piece. Stick it up. Now there's another patch I need to do downstairs, so I'm going to show you a whole new method for downstairs. I'm not going to use frog clips, I'm going to use another thing. Again, everything I'm using is pretty much available in the drywall aisle of your big box store. I don't care if it's Lowe's, Ace, Home Depot, whatever you got, BMC, whoever you go to is going to have these products. So let's go downstairs. So this would be an example of a whole new type of patch. Back before I put this wall in, the center of the room was there, and they put the light on the center of the room because they measured from that outside wall all the way to this wall. Now I put this wall in that moves the center in. So center's there in between this wall and this wall. So that's where my new light fixture is going to go. I need to patch up that hole. Electrician did his work, stripped the wires out of there, knock that out of the way. I can just put a patch on this and be done. I'll have to do a little bit of texturing on it, but I've got some cans left over for that too. Even if I didn't, I could probably try to match somewhat a little bit of this. I might try my hand at that with some of the mud and be able to do a little bit of rough, because this is done with mud, and I don't know if they did this with a sponge or with a brush. There's several different methods. You can look those up online. Lots of people tell you how to do that kind of stuff if you're not going to use spray cans. Spray cans obviously are very expensive. A bucket of drywall like that is like $9, the drywall joint compound. But I've got lots more patches to do in here. You saw how I did those ones, so I'll show you how I do something smaller like that. And then that's where I'm probably going to cut this video off and drive on with laying some mud on. Also available in your drywall are these little suckers. And they're very good for patching over small circular holes. I'm looking at the telephone ones down here. And those are next to an outlet, so I'll probably use the same thing. Respread mud. That's when I clear this room out of everything and do drywall in here. But yeah, these little patches, they have a mesh backing and a metal backing. You put them over a little hole, and you just put joint compound over the top of that. So it's just this, like a Band-Aid almost. Band-Aid for walls. But you can see mesh and steel, which is what gives it structure. It's sticky like a Band-Aid. Just take it, stick it on over the hole. That's patched on the hole.